happy Sunday, everybody. Coming to you for a quick flyby. I was in this morning setting up the bar at the Washington Inn. I'll be in tonight working there. And I thought I would just stop off in the middle and kind of reflect on something that came up this week. I thought it was a really thought-provoking kind of a concept. I attended a school boards meeting for Cape May County School Boards, and we had a presenter. And she talked about American motivational writer, teacher Seth Godin. And she said she read something on Seth Godin's blog that truly impacted her and really made her think about how we frame our lives. So much so that she said she had read it at a time she was mourning the loss of her son, and she actually rewrote his obituary based on this. So this comes from Seth Godin's blog, and I want to share with you. And he says, when you talk about your last job, your last vacation, the things that happened when you were 12, what do you lead with? Do you lead with, I broke my ankle that summer and rarely got out? Or is it, I stuck with my reading regime and read all of Shakespeare? Because both are true. The top story is the one that informs our narrative, and our narrative changes our future. And the reason this got me thinking is for maybe the last 4 or 5 years that I was teaching, I had a flag that hung as you walked into my classroom, and let's see if I can find them too. I frequently gave stickers out to my kids. Sorry, Lower Cape May Regional, if they're on any of the walls or lockers, but it was live a great story. And I tell them that because I think sometimes we look at somebody else writing our story. This happened to me, or that happened to me, or I don't have control of what's going on around me. And I would always remind students that we do, in fact, because we can turn the page and write the next chapter. And it can be different than the current chapter. So along that line, I think Seth Godin's idea of what is it that you lead with about your life when you think about it? Do you lead with what's happened to you and the setbacks you felt? Or do you lead with how you overcame them? Because that creates our mindset, and that narrative is what impacts our future. So if I'm constantly leading with how I've overcome something and how I've gotten through some kind of a difficult event, then I can move forward and improve upon what's happened to me. Similarly, if I look at having experienced childhood trauma, I could lead with, I've been impacted so difficultly by this trauma that happened when I was a child. Or I could lead with, I've sought therapy, I've put the work in to overcome it, and now I'm a greater person because I've overcome those difficulties. It reminds me, I love the story that Tony Robbins has told about, what spurred him on to feed people in need. And he talked about, the struggles he had growing up. His father left him with a single mom. And one day when somebody came to his door and offered him a basket of food. And I think this resonated so deeply with me because for 20 or so years at Lower Cape May Regional, every Christmas, we would offer food baskets to families that were in need that year, a little down on their luck and needed, something for the holiday season. And what the difference was that it wasn't so much the gift that registered so deeply with him. It was the fact that there's somebody in the world who doesn't even know me and cares enough to help me. And at that moment, he made a vow that he was going to do that for other people. So he said once he got a job, he went out and he gave somebody a food basket when they were in need. And then the next year he doubled it and did 2, and then doubled it and did 4. And he's gotten to a point now where he writes books, and the proceeds from those books go to Feed America, where he's trying to feed 1 billion families. So he leads not with a story of desperation, but he leads with a story of how he was able to overcome that and how he was able to take somebody's charity and turn it into something that he's been able to do for charity. So think about your top story. And if you don't like it, maybe lead with a different story, because that can transform our lives. Have an unbelievable remainder of the day, and I will talk to you all on Monday. Hopefully Monday I'll set up and I'll talk to you from the cold plunge again. Take care, friends.